You know, we've come a long way. This started, last summer of 2024. All we had was one mic, a piece of string, and two cans. Now look at us. They gave us two beautiful, do we call these boom mics? What are they called?
Well, these are the mics we've had.
Oh, we've had these things?
We've had these things. It shows how much you pay attention. I got a laptop now. If you look in that camera, you can say hello. Look, you got your own little shot. Look at that.
Hello. Wow, this looks amazing. This is Take After Take. This is live streaming for our podcast for producer Pat. Now you have a name with a face for the 7.5 people that watch this. There he is, still wearing that Titans hat, Tennessee Titans hat. I guess we'll get that later.
Hey, it's our season now.
Oh, it is? Yeah,
you
ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Season.
You go ahead. Yeah, you ain't lying. We looking at y'all. I'm Carl Prather. We have been doing this podcast since last summer. We came from SEC Media Days in Dallas, Texas. And now look at us. Man, we got a couple chairs, got a couple of pleather chairs.
Yep.
We in the studio. They put us in this little back corner of a room. Look at us. I don't know what can
Lights.
we... Got 2-3 lights in here. All for us to just talk about pure and utter nonsense about sports. That's all I got.
And the Super Bowl.
There was a Super Bowl. Did anyone watch it? After the second quarter?
Well, maybe not after the second quarter, but the most people in history watched it. 126 million at one point. Most watched Super Bowl in history.
How many of those millions of people wanted the Chiefs to lose?
A good portion of them, I think.
Everybody
outside probably Missouri and Kansas.
So the Eagles win the Super Bowl 40-22. It was not competitive. I thought that the Eagles would lose to the Chiefs. I thought that the Chiefs would win convincingly. That did not happen. The Eagles are really, really good. And the only other thing that I kind of took from this whole Super Bowl, I'm 42, for those that would like to know. Patrick, how old are you?
34.
34. Where did this notion of like teams and franchises winning all of a sudden start to become like hated? When I was a kid, many moons ago, back when I was a wee lad, Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, three-peated twice. Cowboys in their heyday in the early 90s. Everyone in school had their Jordan and Pippen jerseys and their Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman jerseys. Now it's like the Chiefs have won too much, so everyone was excited for the Chiefs to lose. Now, granted, we want to send a big shout out to all of our local guys that are on the Eagles because we had 3 of them on the team, and we're super, super happy for those guys from North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley.
And you picked against them. Say that.
I did.
Make sure.
No, 100%. I picked against them. I would say, I'm not scared now. Like, no, let's keep it a bug now. But my biggest, of course, in Jalen and Devontae, former Alabama Crimson Tide standouts, also winning world championships. You're happy for Jalen. You're happy for Devontae, Slim, and you're happy for all 3 of our guys. But it's really weird that everyone all of a sudden now hates like winning teams. Like where did that come from? I don't understand. Like, who wouldn't want to see the three-peat? Like, the constant narrative that I got from everyone watching the Super Bowl is, well, I'm tired of watching the Chiefs win. Like, what? Like, why can't we? Didn't anyone want to see like a little history? I was intrigued by a three-peat. You weren't.
I was not.
For what? For what reason?
I'm a hater, I think.
Listen, I'm so glad you said that. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's good. You've come to grips with that.
I've
You a
realized
hater.
it.
You just don't like.
I didn't like
There's
the Chiefs.
folks out there just haters. You don't like
haters.
haters.
I thought the Eagles were better at every single position on
Which
the
they
field,
are.
outside of quarterback.
Correct.
And that played true.
Correct.
And the old adage that football is the ultimate team sport turned out that to be the case. Because the analysis for everybody was like, the Eagles are better, but you can't bet against Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Correct.
And now it seems like it's gotten back into normal football where you can go, okay, yes, the offensive and defensive lines matter. The secondary matters. The playmakers matter. Like, that to me was refreshing to see. And, yeah, like I said, I'm a hater. I wanted to see them lose.
I was so glad.
And they got destroyed.
Yeah, they got curb stomped. That was I didn't expect that type of. That wasn't competitive
At all.
Is that the worst Super Bowl you've seen? Like as far as margin, I mean, the margin is one thing, but just the pure and utter dominance.
The dominance, but at least it was entertaining. That Patriots Rams Super Bowl that was like 13-3.
Yeah,
that one was like awful.
Yeah, that was awful. The Seahawks' first Super Bowl against the Broncos, that was a dominant win. That was from the first snap. Remember Peyton fumbled or high snap back in the end zone.
Yeah.
But no, listen, the Chiefs had one first down, I think, in the first half. Patrick Mahomes had a whopping QBR of 1.
The Eagles had more points at halftime than the Chiefs had yards.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
It's not how you win a Super Bowl.
Not ideal. You knew this thing was going left when Taylor Swift gets booed immediately on the screen. Shout out to Travis Kelce because I loved his fit when he came in. Did you see when he walked in?
He was
impressive.
Nice.
He did not play well.
It kind of seems like to me, just from 1,000 feet away looking in, that the Chiefs really did think they were going to dominate this game.
I 100% believe that.
And I think that's why so many of the Chiefs players on the sideline, like after it started going the wrong way, coming up to Mahomes, being like, you good, and he kind of pushed him away. Like it seemed like they panicked halfway through the first quarter, like, oh, this is not how we thought it was going to go.
Were you surprised that Andy Reid did not attempt to run it a little bit more than what he did, especially in the first half?
Yeah, but I think part of the reason he didn't is because that Eagles defensive line was dominant the entire game.
Some animals. Them are for those that remember the Abominable Snowman. Those guys up front were like Abominable Snowmen and mutants, swamp things. You just all combine them into one. That's what they had up front. Congratulations to the Eagles, man. They were fantastic throughout that game. It was just a dominant victory. Nick Sirianni wins a Super Bowl. There is this notion that Nick Sirianni is a top 5 head coach in the National Football League. Your thoughts on Nick Sirianni as a top 5 coach in the National Football League?
We talked about it last week, but we weren't live. We weren't live. Just on the audio. I don't know what to make of Nick Sirianni. If you look at his winning percentage, he is up there with the likes of Vince Lombardi and John Madden, and now he has a Super Bowl.
Correct.
You said last week, even if he wins a Super Bowl, you're not putting him in the top 5.
Yeah, no, I mean, Nick Sirianni, congratulations. Nick Sirianni's you're a quality head coach. But who putting him in the top 5?
Well, what else does he have to do? Now you have to admit that you're a hater.
No, I just want to ask. This is just a legitimate question, and shout out to the Eagles fans. All right, because I mean he's great. I think he's a really good coach. But y'all picking him as one of the first 5 guys you think about in the National Football League, even today. We just got to be real with ourselves. You're not doing that.
I would have to think about it, though.
Unless you're you can think about it, and then you're going to say, yeah, you taking him, hold on. You taking him over Andy Reid today after this blowout?
No.
They just blew out the Eagles. I mean, the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. You taking Andy Reid or
I would take Andy Reid.
You taking Kyle Shanahan or Nick Sirianni today?
I would take Kyle Shanahan, but the flip side of that, how many Super Bowls does Kyle Shanahan have?
Correct.
I don't know. Is it about winning or is it not? We can't blame the dude when everything
is
going the wrong way
not
give him any credit when he wins.
Nope. I'm not blaming him. I'm just throwing out some names. I'm just asking. Look, we've got 2 already. You taking Mike Tomlin and Nick Sirianni over him. If you even remotely, as the old folks used to say, cut your mouth to even remotely say that you taking Nick Sirianni over Mike Tomlin today. We can just end this. We can just end this podcast.
We can't end
right
it.
now.
We can't. How much time we got? We got to go for another hour.
Man,
or close to an hour.
It's only 7.5 people watching this thing.
No, probably more.
You taking Mike Tomlin?
I got to stop and think about that. I have to stop and think
about
what? Tomlin or Sirianni at this point? Ask the Pittsburgh fans who they'd rather have. I told you, you're not in the Reddit the way I'm in the Reddit. The Pittsburgh Reddit, they'd fire Mike Tomlin today if they could.
You taking Jim Harbaugh over Nick Sirianni?
Again, how many Super Bowls does Harbaugh have? 0.
That's what we doing.
I don't know if that's what we're doing, but I'm trying to ask you. I don't know.
All I'm saying is, once again, if we are critiquing NFL head coaches and off the top of your head about what, first of all, there's not one person that I've heard in that locker room, like our local guys that are there, love the dude.
Yeah.
He appears to me as the true epitome of a player's coach, right?
Yeah.
We always hear that notion go around. I'm just throwing out, who was thinking about Nick Sirianni being in the top 10 2.5 months ago? Now all of a sudden, we just go throw him in the top 10 because he won a Super Bowl? And don't get me wrong, that's the ultimate goal. I'm just saying, that man was about to be fired in September. Now all of a sudden we go, at any moment was Mike Tomlin, Kyle Shanahan, Jim Harbaugh, the St. Louis Rams head coach. You taking Nick Sirianni, St. Louis Rams or St. Louis LA Rams head coach?
I will take McVay. I'll take
Sean
McVay.
McVay.
Yeah.
Was at any moment, is any of them guys ever remotely even thought about being let go, being fight? They was about to try. This guy's in here trying to fight with the fans.
Yeah, but that's Philly. He's the perfect head coach for Philly. He's yelling, cussing at the fans.
Until they start 2-4 next year. Or something.
That's what they, up until this year, they went 15-1 past September. Even in the Super Bowl.
We got a serious conversation had they won in 23. Then I say, okay.
And they probably should have.
They probably should have.
Probably should have.
What I will say is that this team, franchise organization, does not appear to be going anywhere anytime any soon. So I'm listen, the Eagles are great. I love their fan base, passion as passionate can be. Shout out to the Eagles, man. I mean, the victor go the spoils. At the end of the day, like the Eagles are your world champions. And look to be primed to keep going with this thing. I think the real cool part about the Eagles, too, is just the fact that, like, Howie Roseman and company just continue to just draft well. The organization from top to bottom is outstanding. It's just everything that you would want in an NFL franchise. So shout out to the Eagles, man. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you, Eagles. You got the job done. I just didn't think you all were going to beat the living, you know what, out of the Chiefs like that. If you're Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, what's next? Are they back in the mix next year? Surely they're back in the mix just because they got 15, right?
I mean, yeah. They're right back in the mix. I mean, let's not act like, there was only 2 teams in the Super Bowl. They happened to be one of them, Now, I think Travis Kelce takes a long, hard look about retiring.
So I saw Kelce with his brother on their podcast earlier this afternoon. I guess they dropped a new episode.
Yeah. And
before I came in today, he was discussing that. And obviously, the wound is still fresh. You just lost the Super Bowl. No one wants to do that. But basically, in no certain terms, he basically was just discussing like, man, I need to reassess where I'm at in my career relative to the production that I'm accustomed to as a future first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he had career lows in everything, yards per catch, touchdowns, the whole nine. You saw a little glimpse of it 2 weeks ago in the divisional, had a really good game. But man, he had a tough night on Sunday for sure.
He looked old. He looked like he was already retired. And that's obviously not going to get any better, no matter if the Chiefs fix the offensive line or whatever. Give you a little first take prompt here. Does Travis Kelce gallivanting around the world in the offseason, did that affect his performance this year? Is Taylor Swift to blame for the Chiefs' loss, yes or no?
No.
Okay.
No. Listen, man, I mean, what he is asked to do. And also, hold on, let's go back to this. I'm also partial to Love Doctor too. I don't know if you know that or not. Did you know I was Love Doctor?
We've heard.
I try to be. I'm just trying to give y'all. I'm trying to keep y'all on game, fellas, ladies. Let's check this out.
Keep in mind we are live this time, so we cannot cut
live?
anything what you're about to say.
Okay. Sometimes
proceed with caution.
Look, y'all. Sometimes when you're in love, it's fresh, it's new. You want to travel with your boo thing. Your boo thing want to travel with you. You always want to just go around. You all want to just like be in each other's company at all times. What's wrong with little hop in the mini camp, hop overseas, come to OTAs, hop overseas. Let's be with each other. Let's hold out each other's hands, swing hand to hand. Puppy love, just good, new, wholesome, new love. I ain't mad at Taylor. I'm not mad at Killer Trav. Like, just they had their thing. They had their moment, living their lives, truly in love. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes, you may got some things to do. You may just want to cuddle up. You may just, hold each other tight, keep each other company for a little bit, be around each other. What's wrong with that? I'm not saying that may have had maybe an influence of what he was accomplishing during the football season, but hey, love, love's a fun. Love will make you do some crazy things. Don't we have a quarterback in that used to be quarterback in Georgia? Went down to Miami.
Yeah.
Got him a special someone.
Made a lot of money.
Got a nice little NIL deal. I hear riding around Lamborghinis and stuff down there in Miami. In love. TikToking. Love make you do some crazy things. You done done some crazy things for your woman. Just be real.
True.
We just.
And if you're just now joining us, this is a sports podcast.
It is a podcast. Yeah, it is. It is. I promise you.
It's the love doctor comes in every once in a while.
I'm just throwing it out. But listen, regardless of what Travis does, we all can honestly say to ourselves, as fans of football, fans of sport, especially the game of football in the National Football League, that he's one of the best, arguably the best, if not the best tight end in the history of NFL football. But yeah, it was tough, and I can't imagine. You've been around athletes, I've been around athletes, blessed enough to be around them, and the psyches of them, man or woman. And man, it's just a hard, lonely road when like the end is near, and you don't know how much you have left. You want to make sure that you kind of empty the whole entire tank before you call it a career. So, man, look. It's new, it's fresh. You lost the Super Bowl, man. Go be with your boo thing, man. Y'all go figure that thing out. Do your podcast because it's amazing. Listen to our podcast and man, just
pitching to Travis.
Travis, come listen. Come. You and your brother come listen to us.
Yeah.
But nah, man, he'll be fine. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's just like you don't want to say this in no certain terms, like a death. I mean, you lost the Super Bowl, and the way that you lost makes it even worse when a lot of people really didn't want to bet against you. So we got to move to, first of all, before we go into the halftime show with Kendrick Lamar. What'd you think about these commercials?
I thought the commercials were great, but before we have to go to commercials.
We got to go commercial break?
Yeah, we got to go now.
See, that's the thing. When you get on TV and stuff and they want you to look good on TV and stuff, then now you got to do commercial breaks and stuff.
We got to do commercial breaks. We're on the move up.
We get some money for this?
Us personally?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Somebody
gonna get paid.
So coming up next, we will talk about the commercials. Let's see if I can do this whole thing right. This little doohickey here.
Welcome back, everyone. Take after take. Producer Pat on the ones and twos.
I don't think I messed that up. I think that was a flawless commercial break.
That was flawless. This is the first time you've done something right in this podcast since we've started because all your takes been wrong.
They haven't been wrong.
All of them
I got
wrong.
some Jalen Hurts things I want to get to at the end, but we want to talk about the commercials first.
Okay, so listen. We all know, we've discussed it in our podcast last week. Super Bowl is like literally just a cultural, it's a gathering of just, sport, those that don't like sport, those that just want to eat a bunch of stuff like yours truly. And part of that is because you like the halftime show. You want to watch who's going to be on the halftime show. And then more importantly, the commercials. I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch a lot of Super Bowls. I get excited for the commercials, right? I do. I just want to see what hot takes, and we get it. It's prisoner of the moment. These were the worst commercials I've ever seen in the history of the Super Bowl. Am I the only one that thinks this way? Because they were terrible.
I thought they were bad.
They were really bad.
Really bad.
I don't know.
There were some good ones in there, sprinkled in there.
Who, where, how?
The Harrison Ford commercial, the like rah America stuff, I thought was pretty good and tasteful. The Harrison Ford Jeep commercial I liked. What was the other? The one with the grandmas. I thought that was funny. I don't remember what it was advertising, but there were some bad ones.
I knew when it was bad when my man. Cause we can't sing. I guess we can't sing a song. Can I sing a piece of it? My man Seal with the Seal.
Oh God,
bro.
Does he need money?
No, man, don't do that. Man, get out that man's pockets.
Should we check on?
Get out that man.
Well, here's why I'm asking, because you know that he's been pitched that idea every single year for who knows how long, and he said no every single year,
man,
until 2025.
I don't know all that. Somebody told me a long time ago when I was knee high to a grasshopper. You don't count nobody's money. You stay out of everybody's pockets. Let's stay out that man's pockets. All I know is that I just wasn't expecting Seal to be doing it. I just didn't like it. I don't know how y'all felt. I just was like, that's a great song. That's a really great song. No, you don't think it's? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's great, or do you think it's
no?
just like
I think it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's not anywhere close near the top of like love songs. I don't think.
What's your favorite love song?
Oddly enough, I was taking my 5-year-old to school today, and he's having his Valentine's Day party, and he was like, "Can we listen to some love songs?" I don't even know where that came from.
The 5-year-old said this?
The 5-year-old said that. So I don't know what to do.
This your son?
This is my son. I'm thinking he's talking about like a Blippy song or something like that. He wasn't.
No.
So I just put in Valentine's Day playlist, and When a Man Loves a Woman, he was like, "I like this song." I'm like, "Okay, good taste."
Which When a Man Loves a Woman?
Percy Sledge.
Shout out to Percy Sledge, proud of leading Alabama, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Celine Dion. He likes Celine Dion.
whew, Celine's got some power ballads, don't she, man?
She has a
Boy,
lot.
get you, man. He took you back of your neck.
Yeah.
So that I like the song, but no, the commercials were what? Like what? I mean, it's already bad when the game is bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna watch it because like we understand like part of sports is like blowouts. You're gonna have like there may be close like it's just part of it. But man, like when you got like folks that really don't watch the game like that, and then to have that, and then the commercial, and they're like, man, like it was to the point like they were just an afterthought. People just were. We had some folks over. We were just watching. I mean, we were just talking. I mean, like nobody. After the first set of commercials, everybody was like, yeah, this is going real bad.
There were 2 commercials that had almost the exact same premise with the Pringles flying mustache and the Little Caesars flying eyebrows.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many of these were AI?
We was down bad. Yeah, we was down bad.
AI generated.
We was
I think
down
a lot of
bad.
them.
We was down bad for that. All right, okay, so look, obviously everybody is talking about Kendrick and the Super Bowl, and your thoughts on it. I was going to do a scale 1 to 10. I just want to give it a letter grade. What you thought about the performance, just the whole halftime show as a whole.
A plus.
A plus.
A plus.
A plus.
A plus.
So it's better. So it's better than Prince playing Purple Rain in the rain.
No, that is A plus plus plus.
Okay, so there's levels to the A pluses.
There's yeah.
Okay,
You have to give. You can give more.
Okay.
I think the kids now there's like S tier, and then A.
S tier. What?
Don't ask me anything about that.
Kids, y'all tell what S tier? What's that?
There's like S tier. I don't know. I just see these graphs and there's like S is like at the top and then it's A.
Some sort of
B,
learning
C.
curve or something like that. Didn't we have them graphs and stuff when we was in high school and stuff like that?
I didn't have those graphs, no, but I went to little small rural school, so we didn't have a lot of funding.
S curl.
Yeah.
It used to be a hairstyle back for some people that look like me. S curl. Had that jerk, had that thing. Boy,
Yeah.
that used to be back. I
Did
got
you
some
ever
pictures.
have one?
I ain't have one. I know. I'm a little too young for that, big dog. Like I mean, but I may have some folks that had a good little S curl back in the day, back in them 70s. That's a cultural thing, though, dog. It's just a cultural thing. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't know how much we can get away since this is the first live. If we were just,
We just
audio,
go-
it would be fine.
Hey, big dog, we just go.
We're skirting the boundaries of what we can
Look,
do.
I ain't never seen this movie before, but it was the end of a movie called Thelma and Louise. All I know is, boy, they took that thing out of. Hey, we just see what happens. You know what I'm saying? The worst thing you do is to be like, man, this is terrible.
This is it. This is the last
This is
one.
the last one. First and last one.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for
everybody.
watching.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so
What about Instacart? Did you like the Instacart commercial with all the characters?
my kid loved it because he saw all the characters and he was like, at first, I had to take a double take because he was like, Daddy, like look, and had all of these familiar characters that he's grown accustomed to. So at first I didn't know what the heck it was, and then once I saw it, I was like, okay, I was like, that's cool. I guess that may be your best one. I mean, I kept talking and doing and eating and doing what I was doing, man. But yeah, that was fine.
The Rocket Mortgage one was cool, where it had the country roads, and then it came out to the stadium, and everybody was singing it. That was kind of cool.
That was
There
okay.
was a Google Pixel one with a dad and a daughter. That was kind of heartfelt. That was nice.
I'm interested to see any kind of comments that we get, like what outside this stinks. That that if you like any of the commercials, I just commercials were like a dud. But you mentioned Kendrick Lamar, K. Dot, A plus. So initially, watching it live and in real time, I was like, this was excellent. An A. And I still think it's an A. But when you kind of put it in the pantheon of like some of the like greatest Super Bowl halftime performances of all time, like I'm okay if you want to put it in there, but relative to like the standard that has been set in Super Bowl halftime performances in years past, I'm like I mean, I always think to myself, if I'm putting it in that tier, which ones am I saying yes to him over relative to other set artists? I can't put him over Beyonce in New Orleans. I can't put him over Prince Purple Rain. Michael Jackson, can't put him over that. I think the one thing that the scale was, I wanted maybe it to be just a little bigger, and that's hard to do for like a hip hop artist relative to like you kind of really being the central figure. He did bring out obviously SZA, who was fantastic, and Serena just with her appearance. But I wanted to be just a little bit bigger. Now I will say the Samuel Jackson was chef's kiss. That was excellent.
Perfect.
Here's what makes it even better. I know you've probably made the rounds on social media and stuff. Here's the funniest part, what I truly love. And it's always been this way. We can dance around this all we want about like what demographics love and what demographics don't like. But there is nothing better than from freaking Super Bowl back in 1985 to Super Bowl last year or this year. The disconnect between older people and younger people, it tickles me at all times.
Happened in my household.
To see how many older folks in our great country in North Alabama and stuff, and some of the videos that they were sending me and stuff, like some older folks were into it. Some of the folks didn't understand what the heck was going on. This is when you know that Kendrick has won the year, or all of the since the beef started with Drake. I was at a business on Monday, and a young lady was in there with her grandfather, and they were discussing Super Bowl halftime performance. And this young lady had to be either right at junior high or high school age, and she was like literally laying out everything about Kendrick Lamar, like how many Grammys he won, the halftime performance, the diss track, all that stuff. And I thought it was really cool because like the grandfather literally was intently like listening, like knew who he was, like, oh, okay. So it's just it was interesting to see from that standpoint with because I mean you just go anywhere online, like the older folks, our mom and daddy's ages, they ain't getting it.
They ain't like it.
They ain't getting it.
I thought, it's always just the spectacle, the production of it.
Yeah.
And then down to the technical ability, him having the breath work to be able to control himself as he's like rapping and running around everywhere. The set was awesome. All the little details that you had to kind of get. Yep. I mean, Kendrick is an artist, and he makes art for a reason.
He does, and that was a very good point that you mentioned. Like it felt like art. I thought it was excellent. I just have the crazy part about it. It was awesome, but I have such a high regard for like the Super Bowl halftime performance and the ones that like I could just immediately like remember off the top of my head that are like really good and like grand in scale, if that makes any sense. But yeah, no, he was great. I liked everything about it. I'll give it an A, A plus. Oof. Like I mean.
Well, I mean, I know why you're not giving it an A plus.
Why?
You're Team Drake.
I'm not Team Drake. I'm not Team Drake. I'm not Team Drake.
You sure?
I'm not Team Drake.
Positive?
No, I'm not
Positive?
Team Drake. Here's the thing. I have a question. I've just said this to everyone. I don't think anyone in the world is thinking that Kendrick Lamar is not a better MC or lyricist than Drake. Whomever you are in the world, Drake fans who I love, just like Kendrick Lamar, no, we know that. That's just in the grand scale of hip hop. But we also know that Drake is an MC. We can call him a pop artist. We can do it. Everybody been Tootsie Slide and all that stuff before this. Y'all keep doing it when he comes out and has his music come out here shortly as well. Like, stop. Like, you can pick a side or whatever. If you're Team Drake, Team Kendrick, cool. My biggest thing is the vitriol rather for Drake is like, this is crazy. Like, I told you this. If I'm either one of these men, because just who I am, we doing this until we 75 years old.
Oh, they will probably.
I'm gonna be in the nursing home. I here on my ones with my cane, with my walker, and we out here. I'm doing diss tracks in the community center. When in the community center, all we do. I'm talking about. I'm sending them out that way. I'm gonna get one of the nurses to send it over to his home. If they get we in the same home, I'm doing diss tracks every week. This will not for me, whether I'm Kendrick Lamar or Drake. Oh, this ain't never ending.
But if you're Drake, where do you go from here? Kendrick literally played the Super Bowl. It's the apex of American cultural entertainment. It doesn't get any bigger than that.
Yeah, but from all indication reports, Drake turned it down 3 times. He tried to do that. They begged and pleaded and asked him to do it. He didn't want to do it.
Well,
are we forgetting? Like, here's the thing. I don't know this. I really don't. I'm being brutally honest. You may know this. I don't. Where did this beef even start?
So that's the $1 million question.
Because the 3 people that were on stage with him have some sort of tie to him somehow, some way. This is a PG show. We're going to keep it at PG when it comes to the other 2. What I want to know is that everybody that has a beef with Drake, wasn't y'all cool with Drake and on these features and stuff before we got this beef? So my question is, where does this beef come from? It ain't my business. I just want the music. But I'm just saying, like, what's really going on? And I have a hard time to believe as the things, the trolling and the pettiness that Drake has done as far as just keeping, being a competitor, that you think he's just going to completely just like, there's nothing else that's going to, like, he's not coming out with anything. He's not going to even mention this anymore. No chance.
I don't know. There's a part of me that the reason Kendrick was smiling and did what he did at the Super Bowl is because he knows, in my opinion, and again, tinfoil hat here. You know, I love to wear a tinfoil hat.
You ain't lying. Boy, you are a conspiracy theorist times 1,000,000,000,000.
Kendrick knows that what Drake doesn't have any more cards left to play because whatever he's going to do next is going to out him for what kind of beef Kendrick and Drake had.
Yeah,
it has to be something nefarious. It can't just be like an ego thing to me.
Yeah, I mean, they were literally like, I don't know this. I believe that Drake brought him on tour with him to open for him or something like that.
Well, it was like Drake's line, like your first #1, I put it in your hand. Like he kind of helped get Kendrick up there.
Yeah,
and then something happened. We don't know what.
Something went down.
Something happened.
I just have a hard time believing, relative to what we've known of. We don't know Drake from the hole in the wall. We just listen to his music. We don't know anything about that man. But that he, as an artist, is not going to respond to it. Just the competitive nature of it all. Yeah, like it's cool. Like we've seen. If you're a fan of hip hop, we've witnessed hip hop beefs throughout decades as in the infancy of this form of music and expression. But yeah, no, he's going to respond. He got an album with Party Next Door coming out this weekend for Valentine's Day weekend. But no, I think this will be revisited. There's no way, and I think K. Dot is going to revisit it again. This is going to keep going, and I wanted to keep going. I told you remember, like I told you, I don't watch a lot of movies. I watch snippets of movies, like iconic moments of movies. I told you, Days of Thunder. You know, Cole Trickle and them. They was in the wheelchairs in the hospital. Yep. They got the race of the stuff. They got.
Do you think they're in the nursing home? They're just gonna have microphones.
That's it.
At the talent show.
That's it.
Going back and forth.
Back and forth in the talent show at the community center inside the nursing home. The producer Pat Carl Health and Wellness Senior Living. They both gonna be in there.
I'd watch it.
I would watch it. It's 85. We're gonna do that. We got to talk. Switching gears just to college basketball. I know that you're a huge fan of the NBA. Yours truly is also a fan of the NBA. But man, listen, I grew up watching, love college basketball as a Kentucky native. Man, the Southeastern Conference, man, on the men's side is, boy, pretty interesting.
It's loaded. You could.
Have you been watching? Have you had an opportunity to start to watch a little bit?
I've seen some stuff.
Are you really gonna kind of dive into it now?
Now I'm diving in, yeah, because I have to feel something for this void that football has left.
Big dog, listen to me. So you got 9 teams in the AP Associated Press top 25 right now. You got 4 of the 5. They're in the top 5. It's for real must-watch TV every night. How the quality of basketball, how good these teams are. And then with all of that said, here we are this Saturday. We got number 1 versus number 2 within the state of Alabama. I'm not disrespecting any of you Alabama and Auburn basketball fans from back when I wouldn't even thought about or before I even came to North Alabama. But when I grew up watching SEC basketball, Alabama and Auburn, outside of a year or two here or there with Cliff Ellis, and of course Wimp, they had some great years. Wimp Sanderson, Florence native, by the way. They've had some really good years. But to have it at this, and if you would have told me being here since 2009 that if someone told me in 2012, Carl, 10 years from now, Alabama and Auburn will be the top 2 teams in the country ranked. They're going to be 2 number 1 seeds. I would be like, what you drinking on? Maybe give me some, but what you drinking on? I just want to know, like, for you, like, how incredible is it as a North Alabama native, a guy that's watched, basketball from afar at the college level and stuff to see these 2 teams literally at the college basketball landscape, the entire nation will be or have all of their eyes fixated in Tuscaloosa, Alabama on Saturday.
I mean, it's like we talked about with college football. Like, if these schools want to be good, the pathway is there now for you to be as good. If you put money into it, you will get a good return on investment. And I think that that's what the SEC has done, obviously, with college basketball. And, yeah, it is kind of crazy here in Alabama, 1 versus 2. We're used to seeing that with in the Iron Bowl, not on college basketball. So I'm going to start diving in. Like I told you, Cooper Flag I've been keeping up with.
He's a good one.
He's a good one.
He's good. I may have a rooting interest in a team from Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, you do. You do.
I may have a rooting interest in a team from
all the people that were good.
I'm sorry, Durham, North Carolina.
Durham, North Carolina. We got to get one more break in, and then I want to talk about Jalen Hurts.
I got a question. Why we doing all these? We have to do these breaks.
The breaks?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do them.
And we can pay for these.
We are not getting paid necessarily in like a direct way. In an indirect way, I guess so.
So what you said, this is a labor of love. Is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, we love it.
We do.
We do it because we love it. Love of the game.
Because we love y'all. How many people watch? Two people watching?
I can't see. I got these little doohickeys.
You know I can't see. Well, 42.
There's a computer right there. I don't know how many people's watching. Probably 0. Probably just my mama.
What's up, Mama? How you doing?
Mama.
Good to see you.
60 seconds. We'll be back. Jalen Hurts after the break.
Take after take back here for another podcast segment. We're doing this live for the first time. For those that have been following along on our podcast journey on wherever you can find your podcasts available across the country, we appreciate you. Producer Pat, Carl Prather. All we do is just talk about nonsense in sports. You know, if you want to listen, cool. If you don't, still listen. We'll take it. You mentioned before the break that you wanted to discuss one Jalen Hurts and just an incredible trajectory for him as a quarterback, a person, a professional. Now we can now call him a Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about his career because going back to him getting benched at Alabama, there's probably not been a higher profile benching of a quarterback ever, right? It happened in the national championship game. Everyone's watching.
In my lifetime, yes.
Yeah. And to go from that to stay the course his junior year and stay being the backup and even come in and save Alabama in that SEC championship game. We were there. Tua gets hurt. He comes in.
You were there.
Leads the comeback. Then transfers to Oklahoma. Gets picked in the second round when Philadelphia had Carson Wentz.
Correct.
Who was coming off an MVP type of season. Correct. They didn't need a quarterback.
Correct.
And to just do what he's done now and now being the Super Bowl MVP and winning a Lombardi, like, it's kind of an amazing story. And I don't know if there's outside of maybe Derrick Henry and maybe Julio Jones, Mark Ingram, is there a higher like approval rating Alabama player from the Saban era other than Jalen Hurts?
He is at the top of the list for me. And I think everyone loved Tua. But I think the gratitude that Alabama fans and guys in the locker room have as far as a profile guys. Now, there was guys in the locker room that maybe be a little unsung. Like I remember Nick had a fullback tight end type guy, played a couple of years for you with the Titans, and Justin Fowler-Nudie. High respect in that locker room when he was there for them. But as far as just a name that everyone can recognize and know within the Saban organization at Alabama, yeah, Jalen's at the top of the list. So I'll tell you a story pertaining to Jalen Hurts. So Jalen enrolled early when he came from Texas as a high school standout. And we had a local player that was on within the locker room, and he came in and he helped them prep for the bowl game, their BCS game. I believe that was the first time they played Clemson. And this person told me then, even in the spring, and I wish I could find this freaking video from when I did it, but I had video of Jalen in our monitor just discussing, who could be the future. And I'll never forget the person told me, man, this dude is different. It was just so many superlatives about a kid that literally was on campus for like 40 days. You don't know what that's going to be until actually helmets and pads and bullets are flying everywhere on the field, come to. So I've always had an affinity for Jalen because of what I've, being not close to the locker room, act like I'm like some sort of insider, but you got enough people that are around that building and stuff that let you know about what he's made of. I personally said this. I don't know if anyone else has said this before, but I've always said, like, if relative to Nick Saban having a walking, talking clone of himself, that's what Jalen has always been for me. It's nothing has changed. It's always been the same, and I don't think a lot of young people within the circumstances that he has been a part of relative to his play that he may have been at fault for, that's had an opportunity to kind of navigate and find ways to continue to persevere and find a way to reach the ultimate pinnacle. I knew, guys are special when things are not going well.
Yeah.
And, we mentioned it, we were on the field, the second and 26, and you get benched. And 12 months prior, you were, a long Clemson drive with a touchdown with 1 second left in Tampa away from being the first true freshman since the 80s to win a national championship. You remember in that 19-year, that year in Tampa, that defense was incredible. His true freshman year, he was SEC Offensive Player of the Year and scored the go-ahead touchdown to give them the lead. And so, what could have been different had he, won that national championship? But for Nick to make that change, while Tua was kind of getting a lot of snaps in the mid-year of that season, and to do that and then to turn around, stay another year, and then to help Alabama, I've never seen in person Nick Saban close to being emotional. But after that game, when he was talking with the national telecast there, and the way that you could hear his voice break a little bit, because that's what you want to teach as a coach and leader of men. There are a lot of men and women out there that are coaches and teachers of young people, teachers of adults. But to be able to see some of those lessons that you want to try to instill inside your organization and your team, to see that bear its true fruit and to see that happen was something spectacular. So, yeah, man, I think he's the most beloved Alabama figure of the last 30 years. That's for sure. And it couldn't happen to a better just human being. Class personified, kind of an old head, old soul, and I appreciate that from him. But his mom and his dad and his support group should be applauding themselves just for doing a fantastic job with that young man. And now, what else is there to really say? We were talking about his head coach, Nick Sirianni. I think any football fan that watches the game closely in the NFL can understand that, he is in that discussion of top 10 now. You got to really put him inside. Where does he land? Is he 5 now? If you're going to, categorize other quarterbacks, because he's got something that no one else does, kind of relative to what you were mentioning about Nick Sirianni. So he's been impressive, man, and I'm happy for him because the work equaled what you want to get out of said work to accomplish your goal. So that's what I'm happy about. And then lastly with him, I did want to say, I remember we had a mutual friend that we chatted. We're in a big group chat, and he is a true diehard Eagles fan. I don't know if him or Gilly the Kid are the bigger Eagle fan, but one of our homeboys. And I remember when they drafted him, and remember we went back, we were discussing it, and I always said, I never said that Jalen was gonna throw for 5,000 yards. I never thought that he was gonna be a league MVP or anything of that nature. But what I did believe that he was going to be a perennial Pro Bowler, some All Pros, and be a franchise quarterback, and then eventually have a Hall of Fame career and win a Super Bowl. And he hasn't steered me wrong whatsoever. So this is not surprising to me. It's just really cool to be able to understand what all of the things that were about from afar for him to be able to accomplish that.
And listen, 2 Super Bowls, he has played Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, he has.
Outplayed him both times.
Ryan Clark, I was listening to on ESPN, Ryan Clark mentioned this, and he said, no one, you think of Patrick Mahomes, obviously we know what Patrick Mahomes is and his record and all that stuff. But if you just looked at those 2 games that they played, and didn't know anything, you would think that, that Jalen Hurts was the preeminent best quarterback in the world. So, which is a testament to Jalen. He played well enough to win the first one, played darn well to win the second one, and won an MVP in the process along with his first world championship.
And I don't know if you saw the clip yet. It's been making the rounds. Inside the NFL caught the moment, but Devontae Smith comes
special.
up to him.
Man, I thought maybe a few onions was being cut around my eyes. I got a little misty.
But I think it just goes to show, you mentioned the leadership. Like, these 2 guys are peers, and yet it seems like Jalen is the father and is comforting Devontae.
And the other side note to that too is, because Slim is from that's his nickname. So Devontae is from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Lost a state high school football championship his senior year in that very same building. You fast forward now, one of the better wide receivers in the world, and to be able to do that and come back home and do that, man, in Louisiana, man, the boot is it was special, man. But Jalen, man, cool, calm, and collected, man, cool as a cucumber, man. The old head, man, I love him. And
the best thing about him, quote machine.
Oh, big time.
Has some fantastic quotes.
Talk to me.
I got some here that I really, really liked. I want to get your opinion on it. This first one, this was in reference, I believe, a time in college. He said, quote, "I ain't hungry. I'm starving for this blank." We can't say that word on the podcast here. Just cold-blooded. I didn't walk through all that fire just to smell that smoke. A poet. You take a deuce, you don't sit there and look at it, you flush it and move on. Which is just
These are pretty good.
Rent is due every day, which is one of that. And then this last one, which I think there's probably a lot of Eagles fans that are going to get this tattooed on them because it's a good quote to live by. I had a purpose before everybody had an opinion.
That's pretty, as the kids say, fire.
And he's 26.
26 years old. He's impressive, man. Listen, I think the thing with Jalen is that it's one thing to kind of talk it, but you walking it as well. I mean, he's impressive, and regardless of who you root for, whether you're an Alabama fan, Auburn fan, a fan of another team not named the Eagles, or a fan of diehard of the Eagles, just to see him and a guy that's just stayed the course. There's nothing changed. You never had any ebbs and flows. It's always the main thing has always been the main thing with Jalen.
Which is also a quote from Jalen. Keep the main thing the main thing. It's also in there.
And that's what makes it impressive, man. I'm thoroughly impressed with him as a quarterback, as he's continued to develop his craft. But then the other part about it is just what type of man he is. At 26 years of age, man.
And he is about to be a superstar. You will see him everywhere this
Everywhere.
offseason. He was already on the Tonight Show with Fallon.
Was he?
Yeah.
Already? Wow.
Already, him and Saquon.
Both
and then they had that Jordan commercial at the end of the game.
How great. Now, okay. So we were discussing the commercials, which were terrible and just awful across the board. But, man, I mean, Nike just they don't miss. Like just the fact the jump man and the commercial across the board, that was the best commercial for sure.
Yeah. And to just have it queued up.
Ready
boom. To go.
Just ready to go. I love when Nike does that. You know, they do it with LeBron, and they've done it in years past with some of their sponsored athletes and stuff. But that was cool.
I guess to leave us with this, I have a little blueprint to win the Super Bowl here for all these teams. If anybody is listening.
You need to talk to the team in Nashville.
If Mike Borgonzi, Chris Brinker.
Yeah, that was you talking about.
Miss Adam.
You talking about everybody else.
Miss
They're talking about
y'all
them
listening
Titans.
to the podcast, I have the blueprint for you. Okay?
I'm ready.
Here we go. If you want to win the Super Bowl, you either have Patrick Mahomes. We can't do that.
You can't do that.
So the second thing, here's what we have to do. You go find the best defense in college football, and you go draft about 3 or 4 of those guys. Jalen Carter,
Okay.
Nolan Smith, Kobe
Check.
Dean,
Write
all
that
those
down.
guys on the Eagles. Check,
Write that
that's
down.
one. Second thing you do, you find a couple of white dudes in the secondary, including a white cornerback, which is going to be hard to find because there's only been like 3 of them since like 1970.
Yo, what's the T-shirts that Cooper DeJean?
DeJean, yeah.
Cooper and my boy Reed Blankenship wear it to the games. Like they had a shirt. I forgot. I don't know what. Somebody have to tell me what it is.
Somebody have to put it in the comments.
Yeah, but I saw them have it walking into the stadium, one of the stadiums from earlier this year. I think it was from earlier this year. I'm not for sure, but they had Cooper on a show earlier this week. But yeah, hey man,
Listen, Cooper had a chance to almost be the Super Bowl MVP.
For real.
And a rookie white corner winning the Super Bowl MVP, like.
Hey man, we talked about this last week.
We're back.
Man,
White guys are back. I told you we're back.
Hey man, the white guy got some cornerback,
Corner,
safety back there. My boy Reed,
safety,
wide receiver coming. What's my boy's name? What's my guy name from Georgia? Lad cutting up.
They're out there.
Y'all coming?
coming.
Look at y'all. Ain't mad at you, man. Shoot, boy, you better strap it up. Put that helmet back on.
Nah, I think I'm past my prime.
Man, it's gonna be hard for us to get up.
Past
Long
my
as we've been
prime.
sitting up in here.
Where were we at with the blueprint? Oh, white corner. Yeah,
Yep.
go find one. There's 3 of them.
You got 3 of them.
Go get one. The next thing you have to do, you got to fly down to Australia. Go find a big, tall, fast dude who's never played football. Teach him how to play football. Put him at left tackle and make him be an all-pro. That's what you have to do.
Okay.
And then the rest of your line, they all need to be all-pro players as well. If you can do that, you'll be all right for the line. Then you need to go get a couple of cast-offs from other teams. Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton. Turn them into Pro Bowl players. Zach Bond, finalist for Defensive Player of the Year this year.
What type of money is he about to get?
A lot.
Like,
And the Saints gave him away.
They gave him
nothing.
What kind of bread? Can you imagine? Like, how does this feel? You be a Super Bowl champion and knowing in your head you could just go to sleep and just know. I mean, man, forget Brinks truck, 20 of them.
And he was dominant all season long, including in the Super Bowl.
He was incredible.
Dominant. So, yeah, just go do that. Go get a Heisman-winning wide receiver. There's only been a couple of those since, like, the 70s. And then trade for another receiver who's better than him. Go get the best running back in the game, and then get a quarterback that wins 70% of his starts, and you can win the Super Bowl. Easy. Well, I don't know why more teams don't do it. That's all you have to do.
You gonna send this to
Yeah, I'm going to type it up. Send it to him.
I got a question real quick before we get off here,
Yeah.
because I know we're gonna talk NFL draft and all this stuff eventually. Right now, as a diehard, lifelong, tightened up Tennessee Titans fan with the number 1 pick, what do you want to do with that? Just keep it.
What does my heart want to do?
No, we ain't talking about no heart. See, heart gets you in trouble. Our hearts beat strong. I get it. I'm talking about being responsible for your franchise. What do you want to do? Don't do
All
this.
right,
Don't do
let's
this.
see.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't be crazy.
I think I just want to take Travis Hunter. I think I just want Hunter.
Okay.
I want a guy who I think can be a Pro Bowl, all-pro player at 2 positions.
Okay. And then
Or Cam Ward.
okay.
Either or.
Would you be upset if they trade out of that?
It depends on how far they go down and who they get. Like if they trade with the Raiders at 6 or 7, who move up
And
to
get
Shador,
some capital for the future.
get some capital, but that means we miss out on like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, then I might be upset.
You might be upset.
I might be upset. Because I think, like, just do what the Eagles do. Just take the best player and figure out the rest of it. They didn't need Jalen Hurts in the second round when they drafted him, but they took him. Like, Jalen Carter fell in their laps for terrible reasons, obviously. But he might be the best player of that draft. Like, there is a dude in this draft who has played 2 positions at a high level. We have never seen that before. Just take him.
I don't have any pushback from that. I mean,
I don't want Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback, though. Let's put the kibosh on that. I don't want that.
Do you want a quarterback?
We probably need one. As much as I want Will Levis to be good, we probably need one. I would not be mad with either Hunter, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, or Abdul Carter. I wouldn't be mad at any of those picks. Todd McShay, though, he's Jackson Dart. I told you last week. Jackson Dart's flying up the board. I saw a clip. Todd McShay said he would take him over Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart. I told you people were going to fall in love with him.
He doing what?
That's what he said.
When he say this?
Yesterday. His podcast comes out on Sundays. Last week.
Okay, dog. You don't believe that in your heart.
I do not at all. I don't. But I'm just saying what they're telling me.
What?
I mean, I don't know.
Look, Jackson can play. Numbers. I mean, he's fantastic at Ole Miss.
But you're a big Shedeur Sanders guy. We'll get into that. You've been for 2 years.
Yeah,
but
what else does anyone need to see with a quarterback if to run a franchise? Imagine 2 years ago if he didn't get sacked 52 times, and then whatever it was, 30-something times this year. Like what?
I'm just saying.
He is my first quarterback on the board.
Don't be surprised, old Jackson Dart.
Gonna jump Shedeur Sanders?
I think he might. I think it's possible. If Todd McShay is saying it,
oh boy,
he's probably getting word from teams that might happen. Hey, that's an hour, by the way.
We made an hour.
We made it 1 hour. You want to take us home?
Nobody listen to this, man.
First and last, take after take.
You ain't lying. We talked about love. We talked about commercials. Thelma Louise.
The true test of how far management is going to let us go is when we get past this podcast. Football season is over, especially when college basketball and NBA are over.
Because we're going to start talking real crazy.
Yeah, it might get.
That's cool.
It might be the end for us.
All we need is about 4 people to listen to this thing. We good.
Yeah. Well, stay on the ride as long as it lasts.
Probably ain't gonna last long.
We might Thelma and Louise
you ain't lying.
Right off.
Fly on off into the sunset. Listen, anywhere that you have your podcasts or platforms that you want to subscribe from our podcast channel. That's Take After Take. Producer Pat does a fantastic job. Yours truly here just for the ride. Message, subscribe, like, the whole 9. And we will try to do this each and every Wednesday, really throughout the entire season.
I think this is our spot.
It?
Wednesdays at 2.
Wednesdays at 2,
we're
man.
Locked in.
So we're locked in. We will be here some ways, form or fashion, each and every Wednesday at 2. Thank you all for joining us for the first one. We got lights and cameras and stuff, man. We done came up a little bit. What episode is this? 27?
This is number 27.
So we got to do something. We got to need some streamers and stuff for 30. We got to do something crazy. Not crazy, but some. I feel like we should have some fireworks inside the building.
Yeah. I think let's see if we just get to next week.
You ain't can we get to the next 10 minutes? We probably go walk around this corner. They're going to be
our bosses are around the corner. So
they're going to be like, y'all can't do that no more.
Yeah, we might be done for.
So thanks, y'all. No, I'm just playing. All right, for producer Pat, I'm Carl Prather, man. We'll see y'all back next week.